Welcome back to more Lord of the Rings Online. In the last episode, I made it here outside of the gates of Dol Amroth, and I'm so excited to begin exploring the city in this episode. And before I hit the record button, I sat out here for a second, really enjoying the soundtrack. Doesn't that sound beautiful? Man, I can't get enough of the music in this game. So good, so good. Let's go inside. Oh man. This is so epic. This is one of the cooler locations I've been to so far. This city is just epic, and I haven't even been inside yet. I'm just looking on the outside. But it's bustling. There's a lot of life and activity here. You have found the wharf of Dol Amroth.
Well met.
Well met, stranger. Are you here to see the wharf? It is perhaps the best view of Dol Amroth, but I have always found it to be the most beautiful place in the city. Here you will find all of the fishermen hard at work, and the tall ships rest ere they set out for another great adventure. Is there a better smell on earth than clean sea air and fresh fish, and the salt of sea and sweat?
Well met.
You look like a stout and trustworthy sort. How would you like to earn a few pence? My usual delivery boy hasn't shown up today, and I need someone to haul in today's catch. You can find fresh fish by the ships parked at the pier. If you bring me today's catch, I will pay you what I pay my normal worker.
Well met.
Do you enjoy fishing? If so, you are welcome to cast your line off the wharf any day you like. There is a stair that leads to the low dock with a few rowboats tied up. In my opinion, that is the best place to fish. You should give it a try, my dear. Nothing soothes the soul like a bit of ocean fishing. Alright, so from what I understand of Dol Amroth, which is not much at this point, it works similar to Hitbold, if you remember that in Rohan, in which you do a lot of repeatable quests for different factions within the city and open up new things as you progress. So I think it's a similar type of mechanic, and I'll soon either confirm that or reject that. What am I doing in this pier here? Collect fish on the docks. I guess down there, maybe? I don't see any fish around here. There's nothing here. Goes straight to the water. Looks like that takes you to an island, a boat. I think I saw some islands here. If I zoom out, yeah, see, there's a couple of islands, and I saw a boat that takes you to one of them at least. See that boat and that boat. It's a good place for fishing. Oh, so I actually have to use my fishing rod and fish. That makes sense. Although there's already... Oh no, those are seagulls. Okay. Some fish right there, though, in that bucket. Alright, let me see. Do I have a fishing rod? Yes, I do. So let me just put these two together, my shield and my weapon, so I don't neglect it. And then fishing. There you go. Let's go fish. I haven't done fishing in quite a long time. See what sort of goodies I catch. I got weeds. Okay. Need to catch 6 of these. I'll probably end up fast forwarding this. It's probably going to take a bit of time, and I don't really have much to talk about while I'm sitting here fishing, to be quite honest. Sometimes when I run out of commentary, that's when I hit that fast forward button on the video editing. Looks like I'm looking for flounder, though. 5 more. I was too late to click that. I was taking a drink. I was taking a sip of my water, and so... Well, anyway. That's why I missed that fish. That is all the flounder I need. Let me equip my shield and weapon. Let me use some of these rewards I've been getting. Okay, let's get out of here. Collect fresh fish from the dock. Still don't understand that quest, because I went there and I didn't see much of anything. Gonna look around here. There we go. Got some crates of fresh fish here. I need a couple more. Yeah, I don't know. I need to find another ship. Maybe all the way on that side? Yep. It's going to be on the northern dock. Even at night, it feels very bustling here. I like the lighting. I like the pink leaves on the trees. It's all very nice. Actually, I wonder if... Yeah, let me go through down here so I can get to that last boat. Grab the last of the fish before I go turn in quests. No fish here. It's gonna be on the other dock. Alright, fine. Very good. Quest ring right above me on the other side here. Well, I guess that's the one I'm turning into. Okay.
What news do you bring, traveler?
Much faster than my usual worker. Thank you, Kippen. My, but you are helpful.
What news do you bring, traveler?
Nice haul for one day. Make sure you come back again, dear. What's the timer on this? I guess it resets daily regardless of the time. That makes sense. Let me see where this quest ring is. It's above on the upper portion, it looks like. So let me climb up. I can already tell I'm gonna get super lost in this city. I can't even begin to imagine when I get to Minas Tirith. 7 layers of city to find my way through. This is really cool though. It definitely has that epic feel. You have found the artisan's quarter.
Well met.
Are you a traveling artisan, friend? If so, you have come to the right place, for you'll not find better crafters at area for leagues upon leagues. So that was it for that quest. For now, at least.
How may I help you, friend?
I have heard much about what you have done to aid the people here in Western Gondor. I think it would make a fine addition to the city guard here in Dol Amroth. Are you interested in joining?
Gondor needs your aid.
Welcome to Dol Amroth, Kippen. I have seen you about the city as of late, and you appear to have done much to aid Belfalos and our people here. But the threat against us looms ever present, and one must be vigilant in their watch for the shadows. If you are interested, we could find a place for you within the city guard. You would need to prove yourself many times over. Should you rise to the mark though, Dol Amroth would consider you one of her own. Speak to me again if you wish to know more.
These are troublesome times indeed.
Dol Amroth is not a small city. We have stretched and sprawled over the years to cover many an acre, and that's without considering the docks and the port. It is a large area for us to patrol and cover. Each section of the city has its own personality and people who call it home. Each has its own needs and dangers. Our guards are not allowed to patrol and keep watch over every section of the city. You must learn that section to earn the right and privilege of serving it. You shall start where all young recruits do, with the library. Do a series of tasks for Tolkien, and you shall receive some recompense. Return when you have it. So there's lots of quests here.
How may I help you, friend?
It's gonna be a fellowship quest. A greater foe. A great threat rises to the north, Kippen. What I have heard of the forces of Tarlang's crown has grown more and more unbelievable with each account. This much remains clear. We cannot allow the Corsairs, or their leader in the crown, Azuthor, to gain any more foothold in our lands. Once you have readied yourself and your allies, travel to Tarlang's crown and find Harnion. He is a scout of mine and can guide you and your allies through our plans. I would prefer if you keep this a quiet matter, for I do not wish to frighten the people. So I'll get back to that at some point, but for now I'm going to do some quests around here.
These are troublesome times indeed.
The Corsairs have been building up camp to the south a lot in the past few days. New tents have sprung up, campfires, lots of basic amenities to make life a more pleasant experience. I think we should cause them some pain and discomfort and make their lives a little bit more miserable. Head into the camp and burn down several of the tents. Perhaps a few nights out in the rain will encourage them to simply move on.
How may I help you, friend?
The Corsair camp to the south has mostly been nothing more than a nuisance, but lately there has been a lot of activity there. A group of ships were anchored offshore for several days and we observed a number of captains disembark. When the ships left, they weren't on them. I fear the Corsairs may be planning something. Without leadership, they will be rudderless and will falter in any plans. Head to the camp and eliminate the captains.
These are troublesome times indeed.
There are a few things in this world that make me truly angry. Make my spine shudder and fingers clench with rage. Seeing a man enslaved by another reduced to nothing but property makes my teeth gnash. The Corsairs are men who do not share this belief. Instead, they would enslave all of their enemy. Put them into camps making ships and weapons and whip and beat them until they died. Then simply replace them with the next. Several slavers are working out on the camp to the south. Ensure that they never get the chance to take another as property again.
How may I help you, friend?
There is a small beach alongside the camp to the south the Corsairs have taken to using. They pull up their boats on it and bring supplies ashore, then row back out to larger ships. This is an opportunity for us. Plant some traps along the beach. These will damage the bottoms of the boats and will make them take on water when they are put back into the waves. They will either sink on the way or take several precious days and supplies to be repaired. Okay. It's a lot of stuff. So it looks like these quests are going to be south out of the city. Let me get rid of this quest for now and let me put on the epic because I think I need to talk to somebody here. Although I gotta find a way to get to this portion of the map. So actually, it looks like I need to go south and then climb some stairs up. I also need to keep an eye out for stables here. So I can open those up. Alright. Pretty epic. Discover Dol Amroth. Can't get over how epic everything looks here, man. This is truly impressive. Whoa, come on. This is pretty sweet. You know, one thing I always worried was once I got to this point in the game, which I haven't experienced yet, I had a deep fear that maybe over the years the quality of new content just went down. You know, decreased budgets, layoffs, not enough staff. But I must say, this is pretty awesome. This is pretty great. I am digging this. A little laggy, but that's fine. And so different from Rohan too, which I really appreciate. There's a uniqueness here compared to other areas. Lothriel is dark of hair, with a somewhat elvish appearance.
What brings you to Dol Amroth, adventurer?
Surely there is danger to be found everywhere, and you seem a long way from your home. Lothriel's face brightens considerably when you reveal that your message comes from Dorthaneth. She is one of my closest friends, and I have treasured our conversations. Recently, she had some wise counsel to provide about a delicate matter, but we need not speak of that. What message does she have for me now, friend of my friend?
I will take Dorthaneth's warning to heart, but I do not know much about the people of Umbar.
You conveyed Dorthaneth's warning about the heirs of Castamere, and the one they called the Scourge. Lothriel frowns deep in thought. I will take Dorthaneth's warning to heart, but I do not know a great deal about the people of Umbar or their leaders. Every child of Gondor knows the tale of the Castamere, the usurper, of course. But his is a name from long ago when I thought his line was ended. I do not know. My father has always said that the finest way to combat a new foe is to learn as much of his history and temper as you can before facing him on the battlefield. I think this is with wisdom. To that end, I ask you to go to the libraries of Dol Amroth and speak with Pethbir, the master of the archives. He was my tutor when I was just a child and believed I neglected my studies. This will not change his mind. But now I need information, and he will know where to find it. Learn from him everything you can about the Corsairs and their masters. Perhaps in doing so you will discover something that we can use to our advantage. Introduction to Central Gondor. So that's going to be probably next season, I think.
Stop at the town of Ethring in the Ringlow Vale and tell them what is happening.
It's good to see you again, Kip, and thank you for coming to my aid once more. I grow concerned for the lands to the east, the lands of Ringlow Vale, Dor en Ernil, and Lebanon. Word has spread that war has come to the shores in the east, and what folk remain behind are now beset by foes on all sides. I would ask that you travel through Lemedon to Ringlow Vale. There you will find a settlement of Ethring, and I am certain the people there would benefit much from your presence, as we already have. So that's going to get tucked away until some much later time. Okay. Let me see if there's anything here. Yeah, there's a ton of quests. You know what? I gotta go up there. I can't leave without exploring up there. Ah, I can't go up. Alright, fine. There's an invisible wall here, so I can't jump that way either. But I can't break my legs. Digging the swans after the swan nights. Speaking of which, I need to find the Keep of the Swan Knights. The Keep of the Swan Knights is in North Dol Amroth. Isn't this it? Oh, I guess right here. Okay. Let me try to make my way that way. Probably stop at the library first. Quest ring here. Oh my gosh, there's so many. These are roving threat quests.
How may I help you, friend?
Greetings, traveler. I am Aelnir. If you have a moment, I have great news. We Gondorians from Dol Amroth have known of the threat of Tarlong's crown, but only recently have we started seeing their forces east of the crown. I fear they may be attempting to capture more than just lands west of here. The worst part of this news is the abominations under their command. These are twisted creatures, using dark Umbari magic. Azathoth's forces must be stopped. So the roving threats, these are pretty difficult raid type quests, so I'm not even going to pick them up yet because I might want to contain them within a single episode. So I'm just going to ignore that for now. Let me head in the library.
Well, the scholars here are at your disposal, of course.
Lothriel seeks information? What a wonder. She has never sought our knowledge before this. Perhaps she has begun to take seriously the duty with which she has been charged? At last, when I was her tutor, she was the very picture of inattentive boredom. It is one of my greatest regrets that I was unable to impress upon her the importance of study. That is ancient history. What matters now is present need. The scholars here are at your disposal, of course. Allow me to guide you through the course of your study. Naramil and Noseth have traveled extensively throughout the kingdom of Gondor and can tell you a great deal about the land and our rich history. Noseth has a particularly keen insight for the lineage of kings and of stewards, and the political intentions of various lords and ladies. Kirhel can tell you a great deal about the Corsairs, and the port from which they hail, Umbar, to the south across the bay. Let me talk to some of the scholars here in the library. How do I get up there? Gotta go around. I love this. I love that they have a lore hall here. A library just filled with books and volumes, and very cool, very cool. Tell me about the Kinstrife. It is a sad portion of our history, and not pleasant to talk about, but in the name of study I will do so. More than 1,000 years ago, the King of Gondor sent his son Valakar to the lands of Rovanion as an ambassador of peace. While in that place, Valakar met and fell in love with a woman of that people who bore him a son, Edekar. In time, Valakar succeeded to the throne of Gondor. Tensions began to grow in the southern reaches of the kingdom. What would happen when Valakar died and his son came to the throne? Edekar did not possess purely Númenórean blood, but a lesser proportion due to his northern mother. Eldekar did not sit on the throne for very long before much of Gondor erupted into open revolt. A relative from a distant branch of the family line seized the throne, Castamir the usurper. The men of Gondor fought among themselves. They were dark and bloody days. Castamir was slain when, after 10 years, Eldekar returned to the head of the army. Castamir's sons fled to Umbar, where they became the first of the Corsairs. Interesting. Tell me, are there Corsairs to be feared? The Corsairs of Umbar have harried our coastline for many years, but the fighting force of Gondor has always been sufficient to drive them away. It may be different now, for our attention must be split between the Corsair raiders from the south and the shadow that moves towards Minas Tirith from the east. Who are the heirs of Castamir? I do not think any true heirs of Castamir still live. That was long ago, and the soldiers of Gondor could conceive of no mercy for the sons of Castamir. I'm certain they were all slain. I'm troubled by this title, however, for it means whoever is using it knows how to manipulate the Corsairs. Evoking the name of Castamir in this way is highly effective means of mobilizing the enemies of Gondor. There is more behind the increase in Corsair activity than there has been in the past. These heirs of Castamir may not be heir in truth, but they certainly intend to continue the legacy of trouble he began long ago.
Across the Bay of Belfalas, the harbor of Umbar provides the mooring for many ships.
South of Dol Amroth, across the Bay of Balflas, the city of Umbar stands. Its large harbors provide the mooring for many great ships, and mighty fortress was built there. It was an important port for the Númenóreans, but when strife split the loyalties of the people, Umbar became a contested land. It remained so throughout history, at times taken by Gondor and at others occupied by black Númenóreans and their Haradrim allies. One of the most devastating losses of Umbar occurred following the kin strife, one of Gondor's darkest periods. The sons of Castamir, the usurper, chief architect of Kinstrife, escaped from Gondor and named themselves Corsairs of Umbar. Castamir's sons were all slain, but their legacy remains. The Corsairs have caused much hardship along the coastline over the years. Lots of really cool, interesting history there. Let me see on this side what else is going on. Very cool. Oh no, this lag. Tell me about Prince Imrahil. The Prince of Dol Amroth is a good man and loves his daughter, Lothriel, but he has sworn oaths to the Steward and could not refuse the call of Gondor. Once the beacons were lit, Imrahil had no choice but to leave for Minas Tirith. Now his daughter must rule in Belfalas, and the war threatens to come here as well. What can you tell me about the Swan Knights? They are Prince Imrahil's personal fighting force and guard, highly skilled and respected. Most of the Swan Knights departed for Minas Tirith with the prince, but he commanded some to remain behind in Dol Amroth to protect Lothriel. It is my understanding that she immediately sent most of them away to scout the land for anything that might pose a threat to her people. What is wrong with Lothriel's betrothal? I will tell you what I think, but please do not convey my words outside these walls. I do not wish to find myself in trouble for speaking in this way, but here's what I know. I have heard that the Steward of Gondor, Denethor II, awoke from his slumber one night with a vivid memory of a dream. What dream may have been, I never learned, but whatever it was, compelled him to propose that Imrahil command his daughter Lothriel to wed the steward's son, Boromir. This rightly gives good folk pause, for Lothriel and Boromir are first cousins, and such close marriages harken back to dark days before the fall of Númenor, when kin married kin, and much harm was done. Imrahil disapproves of the notion, and I understand that Boromir does as well, but neither man can refuse the steward his request. Lothriel has stated she will consent to the marriage if she must, but the prospect makes her unhappy, and I have heard that she has been stealthily leaving the city to seek advice of the elves.
Imrahil is well loved by the people, but his daughter Lothriel is untested and unproven.
Lord Imrahil is the Prince of Dol Amroth, and he is the wise ruler of this city and its surrounding lands. He has gone to Minas Tirith with many soldiers, but he has left some of the Swan Knights to serve his daughter Lothriel, who now rules the city in his absence. Imrahil is well beloved by the people of Belfalas, but his daughter is untested and unproven. Númenórean tradition allows women to rule, but not all folk in Gondor remember such things. I have heard some dissatisfaction that she was chosen to rule the city while her father is away. But Lothriel is loyal and complies with her father's wishes despite her young age and tendency towards recklessness. She recently disagreed with an arrangement of marriage, but it is my understanding that she will go through with the proposed match despite her feelings or the feelings of a great many of her people. Some things are not meant to be, and I fear that there will be a reckoning for it. So lots of interesting things happening here. Lots of good history. I'm assuming the last person is going to be up here. Somewhere. Looks like the quest ring is below me. Tell me about the geography of Gondor. There's great variety in the land of Gondor. From the wooded slopes of the Blackroot Vale to the coastal cliffs of Belfast, many folk till the fields of Lemedon, and work the fertile ground through which flow the 5 streams, further to the east in Lebanon. The land of Anorion lies beyond the White Mountains, and at their eastern foot stands Minas Tirith, the greatest city Gondor and the Tower Guard, from which the dark lands to the east are watched. Prince Imrahil has gone there with many hundreds of his finest warriors, for war is certain to be joined in the coming weeks. If that is so, war will come first to Ithilien, the lands beyond the river Anduin, and the very border of the Black Land. What can you tell me about the stewards? Ever since the line of the kings came to an end with the disappearance of Eärnur, Gondor has been ruled by the hereditary line of stewards. The steward that sits now in Minas Tirith is Denethor II, a wise man much like his own father, who was steward before him. Some 40 years ago, Denethor married Fingelis, the sister of Prince Imrahil, and she bore him 2 sons. They are noble men, but they come rarely to Dol Amroth, and I have not seen them in many years. Finduilas loved Denethor, but some say that the tower of stone in which she dwelled was not to her liking, and she died after a dozen years, far from the seaside cliffs she loved. Denethor dotes now on his sons. The eldest, Boromir, will become steward when Denethor dies. He is betrothed to Lothiriel of Dol Amroth, a match some find troubling. I heard Lothiriel disapproves of the match. It is not my place to speak it. Perhaps Noseth will wish to tell you more. She has more interest in such things than I.
I will tell you what I can about our kingdom. There is much of which I might speak.
The kingdom was first established in the wake of disaster. The land of Numenor fell beneath the waves. Only fast ships could save the household of Elendil and bring them to these shores. High King Elendil's son ruled the kingdom together, but when the Dark Power returned to Middle-earth, Elendil and his son Isildur and Anarion were slain. The line continued by way of Anarion's son through many years, until Eärnur, the last king of Gondor, disappeared into Minas Morgul and was never seen again. For more than 900 years, rule of the kingdom has passed down through the hereditary line of the ruling stewards charged with maintaining peace and welfare of Gondor until the line of kings is restored. Few believe that can ever happen. Any claimant would need to prove an unbroken bloodline, a task that seems insurmountable to this poor scholar. Man, lots of reading. I need to go get some water. I'm getting kind of parched from all the talking.
I see that Noseth spoke to you of Lothiriel's betrothal. I should have counseled restraint.
Did my scholars help you learn anything of use, Kippen? It seems to me that the Corsairs are a dangerous threat, and that Lothiriel would be wise to recall the Swan Knights she sent from the city. I hope the information my scholars proves helpful to you and Lothiriel, and awakens her to the uncertain future that awaits. Bethamir notices your expression and sighs. I see that Noseth spoke to you of Lothiriel's betrothal to Boromir. I should have counseled her to exercise restraint. None are happy about this match save Denethor, and as he is the ruling steward, there are none willing to speak against his wishes. All I know of is that he got a dream of some sort that convinced him of the rightness of this match, but I do not know what it could have been. You decide not to tell the earnest archivist that you know Boromir will never wed Lothiriel, but the young ruler of the city should be told the fate of her intended. I guess that makes sense. Kind of awkward on my character's part to know the fate of Boromir. Nobody here has heard the news yet. Especially the one that's supposed to wed him. Let me go talk to her. Court of the Prince. I am loving the city.
You have returned. Why do you appear so sorrowful? What is wrong?
You have returned from the library archives, Kippen? Have you learned anything that will help us defend against the attacks of Umbar? Why do you appear so sorrowful? What is wrong? There's no easy way to give such tidings as you have of Boromir, but you do the best that you can and tell Ethereal that he fell in battle protecting those who could not protect themselves. Her face betrays a confused mixture of emotion. I do not know what to say, Kippen. Boromir was a good man. He always had my love and my respect, and I would have married him for Gondor. His father, the Destroyer, dreamed of the triumph of the kingdom, and in the dream I was a garlanded queen in Minas Tirith, beneath the fair and golden sun. My father, too, had a similar dream. He dreamt that I was in a high place wearing a golden crown. Ethereal wipes at the dampness in her eyes back with her sleeve. I mourn for my cousin Kippen and for Gondor. I was unhappy with the marriage match, but now that he is gone I am sad for his passing, glad that he attended glory, and angry for my relief. I do not know how I feel.
I will grieve at another time. For now, I must be strong.
Alright, that's gonna do it for this episode. A good introduction to Dol Amroth. In the next episode, I will continue the epic storyline and helping some of the people here in this beautiful city.
Thanks for stopping by the Renaissance Gaming Monastery. I hope you join our community on Discord and Twitter. These videos are produced with a lot of hard work and love. If you think they're worth $1, I'd be grateful for your contribution. You can send a thanks donation or become a member on YouTube. You can also support through PayPal, Patreon, or even with cryptocurrency. All links are in the description. See you on the next video.